Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, Let's Talk Media. This is a review, recap, reaction to Attack on Titan Season 4, Part 3, Part 1. So if you're going into this expecting a 20-minute episode of Attack on Titan, no, you're about to get an entire hour-long special. And let me tell you, this was crazy. I have only one regret about this, and that is that I waited an extra day to watch it. I watched the first time on a plane, and I couldn't wait until I got home to watch this. It was crazy. It was Studio Mappa just, again, going off. Studio Mappa has animated some really awesome anime out there. Jujutsu Kaisen, I just got done watching Chainsaw Man, which I highly recommend as well. And of course, Attack on Titan, the entire series up until this point. I think that the wait was worth it because this episode was wild. Basically, we pick right back up where the last episodes left off, which is basically the rumbling has begun. Eren has turned into the founding Titan because he made contact with the Beast Titan, his half-brother Zeke, which is crazy. And the team of Armin and Mikasa, Hanji-san, and I gotta call her Hanji-san because Hanji, you know, we gotta pour one out for her about this because oh my gosh, she went crazy. Levi and the rest of the gang are all together basically planning to stop Eren. Now before I go a little bit more into kind of the plot or a high level recap of what's going on in this episode, again, just I gotta give props to Studio Mappa. The animation was off the chain, and I think they set the tone with the animation to make you feel like what was happening in the world right now with the rumbling was about to be terrifying, like eerie, horrible for everybody, because of course the rumbling is meant to protect Eldia, or the Eldian, because Eren basically says the only way for us to be free is for everyone else outside of us to be protected. Everyone on Paradise Island would be the only people left, but the rumbling is taking out everyone, innocent or not, right now. And the very first shots of the episode show Ramsey and Halil, who are just a couple of kids that Eren interacts with a little bit early in the episode, and their plight right now. Like basically they're just dealing with life right now, trying to struggle to get literal coins. And Eren, who's already losing touch with reality very early on in this episode, meets with one of them, tries to save him from getting his ass kicked by some vendors or something along those lines, and he starts to cry. He's losing his touch because he's looking at this kid in his face and basically saying, yeah, I'm about to kill you and everybody that you know because I'm on a mission right now. And of course that mission is something that the rest of the scout team basically is trying to jump back in and stop Eren from doing and committing, but he is already on it right now. They're facing some pretty dire straits. And I say that from the get-go. Basically, they're trying to get that airship from the last few episodes up in the air, where Flock was leading the Jaegerists, and they had to fight and basically kill their friends, their comrades, people that they grew up with in the past, which is already like a gut punch to people like Connie, to Jean, and the rest of the team, because these were basically people that aren't bad, they're just on the wrong side for them, on the wrong side of a conflict that, you know, otherwise doesn't really have like an actual good side, because one side is trying to stop mass genocide, the other side is trying to stop them from being the ones who are getting mass genocide, because the rest of the world is basically going to be out to kill them because of the resources of Paradise Island, but also because these people are the descendants of Ymir, control Titans, and you know what Titans do. Basically, we know what Titans are about at this point, and it's all pretty messed up. Just coming back really quickly, high-level plot. Marley, the war on Marley has started. We know that Eren has the motivation right now to go take out the rest of the world. He made contact with Zeke at the end of the last episodes after he got his head shot clean off by Gabby, the little girl who's best friends with Falco. Zeke came out of nowhere, made contact with him, created the founding Titan. Zeke, being the Beast Titan, is now embedded within the founding Titan, and they are on a rampage. And this is what I meant by it being terrifying and eerie. It's wild that they're just walking through oceans, and by they I mean the giant colossal Titan wall is walking through oceans and sometimes falling down mountainsides, which is actually like the only humorous part of this episode. and destroying everything in their path, both by their actual mass and also because their heat is causing everything to get incinerated, which was pretty crazy. It's like an unstoppable force, basically, that the team is going to have to deal with. They're trying to get this airship up in the air so that they can get away, so they can get to a southern base. And that southern base is like the last stronghold. Before they get to the stronghold, though, we get a little bit of an intro into what the characters are doing, just a quick catch up on where everyone is. We make sure we check in with like Levi, who was badly injured in the last few episodes before this part started, and he's only got like 2 working fingers, but we're gonna see a rematch with the Beast Titan, I'm pretty sure, with him. We check in with Mikasa, who is no longer rocking her scarf. That scarf was like a representation that she had devoted herself to Eren. We check in with Annie, who is actually gonna back out of the conflict potentially. And we also see that she is definitely in love with Armin, and Armin has got those feels right back for his girl, because he was going to talk to her back when she was in her hardened state, and she talked to him about that. They addressed that a little bit in this episode. There's a lot of blushes going on, which is pretty adorable. And Mikasa's face, her reaction to Annie being into Armin is hilarious. Like, it's a reaction of someone who's actually a friend, right? Where you're like, oh my god, when did this happen? When did you start crushing on old boy? Which was really funny, but very sad, because in context, this was all happening in what was basically the last night of peace before they actually had to take off. And right before they take off, Flock comes out of nowhere and shoots some holes inside of the gas tank as if they didn't already have things to deal with. This dude held on to the bottom of a boat after being taken out supposedly at the end of the last few episodes. No, he came through and then he got destroyed properly and ultimately got crushed. So again, we got to check in with a few people, and I cannot leave out Hanji. Hanji-san goes off in this episode. If anything, I feel like this is a song for her. The first part, the first chapter, the rumbling, is, I think, really focused on her and her final act, basically. You know, she goes out into flames. She protects everyone, and when this happened during the episode, it definitely occurred to me that this was a played out trope, like the person sacrificing themselves to help their friends be safe. But in this case, I think that they did it so tastefully. Hanji basically saw the opportunity, turns the reins over to Armin. He is now the commander of the whole team, and she gets one last chance to observe her beloved Titans up close and personal, and then literally goes out in a flame, destroying them. Another situation where Studio Mappa went insane with their animation. This calls back to the Levi shots that we saw when he was fighting the Beast Titan, and also when he was inside of the walls of Shiganshina, and going crazy with the up close shots, with the quickly moving shots. Studio Mappa did Hanji-san right with this, because she saved them. She literally took out multiple colossal titans, and in the midst of taking out those multiple colossal titans, because they give off so much heat, literally turned into a flame. What was really nice to see, though, is after she died, she woke up kind of in a fright, and she was completely unharmed. She thought she might have been alive. She realized that she was dead, but she was able to see some old friends, and we saw Commander Erwin again one more time. I thought that was a really good moment. I thought that was really nicely done, because they kind of had a little quick second of banter, and then that chapter ends. When we get into Sinners, the second half of the hour-long special, wow. We're talking about the team that's just barely making it away from those colossal titans in the rumbling. They're flying through the air. They get taken into the other realm with Ymir, with a young Eren, and Eren is basically telling them, hey, like, I'm not about to stop. It's implied very heavily that the only way that this is going to stop, and Reiner even speculates on this, is that he wants them to come and kill him. He wants them to stop. That's why he hasn't actually taken away any of their Titan powers, even though he has the potential to do so. This leads to some very dramatic moments where we feel like Armin is trying to say, hey, this is my friend, like, this is my brother. I want to talk this out. I don't want to just kill him. And I don't think that's going to be the case. They're about to have to go and do some battle. And the last scene of this episode is amazing. Again, Studio Mappa used this almost like a flex. I feel like Studio Mappa is showing us that they are the best animation studio out there right now, and here is why. Of course, shows like Chainsaw Man and Jujutsu Kaisen already kind of put them right there into that stratosphere, but they're shooting right past their own bar with the episode that we just saw with Attack on Titan. The last scene where the battle really begins is amazing. the stakes are high. People of Eldia are on a train trying to make it to that base so that they can catch an airship and get away from the rumbling, because they are going to indiscriminately also be crushed if they're a part of this. But in this case, no, there are no airships. We think all is lost. We're looking at Annie's dad. We're looking at Reiner's mom, who's having her own emotional situation. And then we see the rumbling coming upon them. But before the rumbling can reach them, and right after the rumbling has actually taken down airships, the team's airship shows up and they all dive right into battle, taking out Colossal Titans. And also where we see Zeke, who's attached to Eren, get busted up in the face by Reiner, who has one of the most badass drop-ins that I have ever seen in anime. And I've been watching anime for the better part of 20 years. So really crazy stuff. Again, highly recommend watching this. If you are, just go watch this. Go watch this episode. It was awesome. I really appreciate you guys coming back in to get this reaction. You can see that I'm super hyped up about this. I don't want to go any deeper into the specifics of the episode. Go watch it. You're going to enjoy it. You won't regret it. Again, the wait was worth it. And again, thanks so much for coming by the channel. We'll see you again in about a week when we jump into Cocaine Bear. Oh yeah. Okay. All right.